privilege to welcome Principal King College to give felicitation address.
Good evening to all of you. Collection.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah,
Voice is
yeah,
audible,
yeah,
sir.
yeah, yeah. Very good, very good. Thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. It's a proud moment for me to be with you for this one-day international webinar on the art of heart communication leads to a successful life. Our English department, they have organized this one-day international webinar for the benefit of the students. The distinguished speaker for this session, Dr. Kunjan Jain, Westminster International University, Tashkent. She has very good knowledge over the communication skill. I think her choice of selecting for presenting the webinar is an apt one.
Thank you, sir. It's my privilege to introduce the chief guest, Dr. Kunjan, ma'am. I say a few words, not time to explain that about his biodata is very big, very long. That's why I'm very short and sweet, something like that. She has 20 years of experience, teaching experience. She has completed her Bachelor of Arts in CCS University in 1994 and a Master of Arts in 1996 and B.Ed in 1997 and PhD in 2010. And after that, the courses remaining so many courses, but it's time, not time. That's why I'm not elaborate this thing is. She had advanced diploma in training program in American TESOL in Kolkata. Also completed the Master Business Administration and Punjab Technical University. She is the winner of Performance Excellence Award in 2021 for Excellence Academic Career by the GISR. She was awarded the Hindustan Distinguished Women Research Award and she also awarded the Best Teacher Award by the Vidya College of Engineering in Meerut. She has hold the merit of recording 100% year-on-year results of students. It's my privilege to address you, ma'am. Once again, I welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. That we call it technical issues every time,
Yes.
no?
Yes, ma'am.
Takes
Yes.
time to connect with. Anyways, finally we overcome all the issues of the technology. I hope everything will be fine. Greetings to all the participants who are here right now listening to me, along with the management and of the PSR Engineering College principal and all my colleagues, I can say, because we are from the teaching community. So we all are colleagues wherever which part of the world we stay. I'm delighted to see that the number of the participants is too much. It took me time to connect with your Google Meet. Actually, I'm happy that's more than 250 participants today. Anyway, let me start with my presentations. And before that, I just wanted to be sure that all my participants can see me. Can you confirm that my participants who are here, can they switch on their camera? Is it possible for them to switch on their camera? It will be more interactive and I can see my participants that way. So I just want to switch on your camera. That's good one. At least I could see one girl, Aishwarya. Okay. Wonderful. Definitely, it's not possible that all 250 students can switch on their camera, but I just want, because on my screen I can see some of the students, so that's the reason I want you to switch on your camera. That's a good one. Thank you. Thank you so much. See, the world is so small. I'm in which part of the world and you are in the southern part of the India, but still we can see each other. That's the best part of the technology. Okay, in this case, what I'm going to start with, and I'll be speaking, I'll be sharing the things with you for 40 minutes, and after that, 15 minutes time will be to you. If you have some questions, you can switch on your camera, you can mute yourself, and you can ask your queries, your questions if you want. I'll be happy to help you out. And in between, I just want you to unmute your mute yourself so that if your mobile rings or something happens, so there's no problem to the other participants. Okay. Today, I'll be discussing, I'll be sharing, because you all are engineering students, I believe, or in any sphere you are from, art of HOT communications, that we connect and we can say it's a hot communication. If we join together HOT, it becomes hot, but otherwise it is three different alphabets, that is H, O, and T. Leads to a successful life. And my agenda of the today's presentation will be like, I'll be discussing on the 5 major issues, or you can say major concerns about the presentation. So in that case, I'll start with, if I say a quote with the Warren Buffett, who says that you can improve your value by 50% just by learning communication skills. See, most of the time it happens that when we talk about the success, if it would have been better that you can share. If I ask anybody, can anybody of amongst you can answer me that if you are asked to define success, how will you define success? What is success to you? Anybody can unmute yourself and can express, so that let me see what is your understanding. If I say success in life, what do you understand by success in life means what? Can anybody express? No? Okay, see. When we talk about success means it's not connected with the money. Most of the time, we observe that everybody interprets that success is what? Success is related to money. But no, success is not related to money. Money is one part, but success means how many people want to talk to you, how many people admire you, how many people follow you, how you treat your parents, how you treat your colleagues, how you treat your group mates. That depends on that. So success means automatically when you are successful, then definitely you can say that, okay, I'm successful. And success is not individual, rather it's you can say a teamwork. You know, if you are successful, so that means people are with you. That's the reason you are successful. So in that case, to be successful, you need to develop your communication skills. And that communication skills means HOT. So if I say, this is for your understanding, I want you to see into it, because everybody cannot speak in that way. Whenever you have a time, just introspect yourself that, do you predict? I predict possible causes of misunderstanding. Or think it of, am I too elaborative in writing and speaking to make use that message is clearly transferred? I excessively use body language and paralinguistic traits while speaking. Am I hesitant at speaking if could not connect with any idea, word, or sentence? I plan, rehearse while speaking in formal gathering. I get nervous observing that people are not able to understand what I say. I can easily speak without caring about other people's perception. I prefer listening more than speaking. When people talk to me, I try to analyze their perspective, and I become conscious while speaking on unfamiliar topic to unknown people. This is generally observed. See, I have been into teaching for, as your sir shared my profile with you for the past 20 years, and I observed that most of the time, in whatsoever the part of the world you are, this is a very common issue. It's a common area of concern for the teachers, for everybody, that students are hesitant of speaking. They don't speak. And if you analyze yourself, if you assess yourself, you will find out not all, but some good points and some good bad points, which I mentioned here. If you measure, you will find out that yes, I missed something. Or you'll agree with me that there is something in your personality. Might be you're hesitant of speaking, might be you are not good in understanding. That's the reason you stop yourself from communicating. There can be any reasons. So it is something that is, you need to measure your communication, that how good you are into communicating. And moreover, what are the negative points? What are the areas that you want to improvise, that you want to improve? So in this case, today we'll be thinking about, let's see, is communication restricted to one language? Most of the time, students perceive, they have a perception that, okay, when we are talking about restricted communications, reason because I'm not good in English, I'm not good in Hindi, I'm not good in Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Kannada, whatsoever language you talk about. But believe me, howsoever good you are in your regional language as well, but still you are at times restricted with your communication. So in that case, you cannot say that communication you are restricted to one language. Any language you can speak, you will be restricted to, because communication has nothing to do with the language. Then the thing is, why is communication a skill? Why we term it as a skill? Because my topic says that communication for being successful. And in that case, we are talking about the skill. So we'll understand why communication is a skill. Though right from the day the child is born, the child starts crying, child starts to express in some way or the other, or probably the mother understands. So that means if we are speaking, people are understanding, we are communicating, but still we say that communication is a skill. That understand why. How effective communication leads to success. I'll be talking on this particular concern. What is hot communication and how to be effective communicator. This is something that I believe in engineering college, and when it is the AICTE approved, you have a module, you call it professional communication. And this is not something new I'll be sharing, but I believe that all these students are very well aware of it. That when we discuss about the communication, just a theoretical part to make you connect with the idea, it is derived from a Latin word communicare, which means to share. When we are talking about sharing, sharing is not always with the words. In any way, in any mode, if you can connect, if you can share your ideas, you can express yourself, that is communication. And when we are talking about the communication barriers, as if you always observe that anywhere, any part of the world you go, anybody can judge, okay, you are from the southern part of the country, you are from the northern part of the country, you are from the western part of the country. How do they judge? They judge by your communication, the way you express yourself, the way we express ourselves, right? For instance, I am here, so people can judge maybe in a very different way, because they know that, okay, I am from India. Because my way of expressing, my way of speaking is different from the people who live here, who belong to this particular country. So in that case, when we talk about the barriers in communication, what are the barriers? The barriers in communication can be physical barrier, you know very well, that is about the distance. Physiological barrier, that is about, you can say that it is something related to your mindset. You can say it is something related to your physical, that means your eyesight, or it can be a memory, anything. Psychological, that is something related to your mental or the emotional balance. Linguistics, that is a language. I believe all students agree with me that right now in the present scenario, in this technological era, the English is completely changed. Because students started using, everybody, not the students, started using the SMS language. Reason being, sometimes people are able to connect, sometimes people are not able to connect. There are certain slangs, certain words that are used. For instance, I don't know whether the students use it or not, but I have observed generally in SMS language they use LOL, LOL. LOL, if you are writing a message and you simply type LOL. So in that case, LOL means what? If the person does not understand, they don't know the abbreviation, they don't know the meaning, that is a linguistic barrier. LOL means lots of laugh. It means somebody said something and you are laughing. So instead of sharing a smiley, you'll say LOL. Or YOLO, YOLO. It's a word, but they are different alphabets. YOLO. YOLO means you only live once. So these are the linguistic barriers that if any person does not understand, they cannot connect with. Cultural barriers are what? Cultural barriers are you belong to different culture, you have a different way of speaking. I belong to different culture, I have a different way of speaking. Presently, if I say the most difficult situation is that right now we have a long list of friends on Facebook, we have a long list of friends on Instagram, long list of friends on Telegram, but when it comes to connecting genuinely face to face with the people, you will realize that there's a limited list of the people to whom we communicate. That we term is as an interpersonal barrier. That means generally in the present scenario, we observe that interpersonal barrier means we withdraw ourselves. We don't want to talk. And we talk to the people with a purpose. Or purpose is probably you are into a gathering, you don't know, but still you know some of the people, you just say hi and hello. Or you are working, you have a purpose, that's the reason you are talking at the workplace. Or you have your family affairs. But in this case, when we talk about closeness, that genuinely what is the count of the people that you talk, then you'll observe that in your surroundings, you only talk to 10, 15, at max 20 people to whom you closely talk. Closely talk means you are connected with them. You share your feelings, you share your emotions. That is something important to think it of. That means we don't talk to the people without business. Okay. Barriers. I would like to start with the barriers first so that you can understand and you can well connect with the HOT communication. Barriers is communication, as if I discuss psychological, physiological, emotional, intellectual. These are all the barriers. Yes, of course, these are the barriers. But there are certain barriers that we observe in the present scenario. Despite of the technological advancement, despite being engaged on the social media for long, but still there are some things that is a barrier for. Number one, technology is not communication. See, most of the time, what I said just now in the very beginning of my session, that generally it is interpreted that if you have a long list of followers, if you have a long friend list on Telegram or long list on Facebook, it's communication. No, it's not communication. Basically, you are talking to the people who have no concern. So it is in the present scenario, people misinterpret technology with communication. Technology is one of the medium to communicate. That's the reason. See, what I am talking to the students, I'm talking to the participants right from the southern part of the India. That means technology made us connected to each other. But if I say that technology is communication, definitely not. Technology is not communication. The second major problem is people listen to reply, not to understand. Most of the time, you must have observed that you don't complete your sentence and the other person instantly replies. So that means in the there's no patience. People believe that instead the person complete the sentence, you reply to them. Anything, instant reply. Yes, no, I cannot do. This is the instant reply, which is wrong. First listen to. spontaneous reactions. It can be through your body language, it can be through your messages, it can be through anything. Without understanding that how a reaction should be given, people give the reaction very quickly. Lack of transparency. Lack of transparency is what? Transparency means anything which is transparent. In the present scenario, what is being observed? There is a lack of transparency. Why? Because people think something else, they speak something else, and they execute something entirely different that a person cannot ever dream of. So that is the major problem with the transparency. Communication style. Communication style is a problem. Communication style is a barrier. Why? Because if you are communicating to the people, you are not understanding. And if you are listening to the person in a different style, you are not understanding. Sometimes the person talks in a very humorous way. Sometimes the person communicates in a satirical way. So it is very difficult to connect with it. That is, the communication style is a barrier. Disengagement. You are not engaged. Engagement does not mean, don't misinterpret with the engagement. Engagement means you are not, the students are not, in the present scenario, people are disengaged. They are not connected. They are not following up the connectedness or the communication where you can connect with a person. They are disengaged. Wrong communication channel. You must have observed in your professional communication, you must have read upward, downward, horizontal, diagonal, grapevine. There are multiple types of communication channels we discuss. Wrong communication channel means wrong time, wrong channel you are using. What exactly is to be used? You are not using that. A lack of personalization. That means personal tone, personal touch. You should speak, you should express, you should communicate in a manner that gives the implication, that gives the feeling that you are connected with a person. Every time you cannot be face to face, but yes, when you are talking, when you are communicating, it is important that personal touch must be there, which is not seen. So in the present scenario, apart from these barriers that you have been learning theoretically, these are the certain barriers that are seen in this advanced technological era, you know. When we talk about the communication skill, now after moving with the communication, let's talk about the skill. Skill means connecting with people easily to get accurate and quick information. That means is the moment you use the word communication with the skill, that is about you can quickly connect with the person and accordingly you are getting the accurate information as well. Generally, when we talk about the communication, these are the four basic skills that we talk about: reading, writing, speaking, listening. You all know very well, but we need to divide it into two segments, two parts. That is receptive skills and productive skills. Out of these four skills, I'm not sure that all these students are very well expert or very well into all these four skills, but more important part is at least develop one, that means two skills, one from the receptive skills and one from the productive skills. If you are speaking well, that doesn't mean you write well. If you are writing well, it does not mean that you listen well. If you are not listening well, it does not mean you read well, you know. So it is very important. Never think it of that way, that right now there are multiple platforms, online platforms, where you can write anything. There are multiple applications. You write anything, you can click, grammar is automatically checked, paraphrasing is automatically done, and everything is. But no, speaking, there's no app which can speak on your behalf, you know. There's no app that can read on your behalf. There's no app that can think on your behalf. So in that situation, there are two skills, receptive and productive. Productive means that you produce. How you produce? When you are speaking, you have a specific choice of words. You know how these words are to be used, how effectively you can use those words, how those words will be interpreted. That is speaking. Writing, whenever you are writing, how exactly it is to be written, how the person who will be reading, how that person will be interpreting, how effective writing. You are not writers. Nobody can be a writer. Nobody, everybody, you are students, right? If might be in your group, in your college, 2, 3, 4 students might be to whom you can say, okay, they are good speakers, they can speak well. There might be 1 or 2 students who can read well. But if you introspect, if you think yourself, you'll see, okay, I can speak well, but I cannot write well. I can write well, but I cannot read well. So in that case, when we are talking for the communication skills, so it is important that out of these 4 skills, develop at least 1 skill which you feel you are confident enough. Either in writing, either in reading, either in listening, either in speaking. So out of the productive and receptive skills, one skill you need to develop. Now, this is the next one when we talk of the communication skills. See, these are all the skills that in the present scenario it is required. You cannot be apart from these skills. You cannot be detached from these skills. It's very important. Presentation skill. Presentation skill, it's about presenting. It's not a, yes, it is presentation related to your, you can say PPTs. But presentation is also how you present yourself. That is more important. How confidently you produce yourself. That is the presentation. Negotiation skills. How well negotiator you are. How well you can negotiate. That is negotiation skills. Team building skills. That means how effectively you work in a team. You are a follower or you are a leader. That is a team building skill. The way you communicate, the way you interact, it automatically defines which part of the team you are into. You are a follower or you are a leader. That is a team building skill. Selling skills. Selling skills is not that you are selling anything. Selling skills means how you, I always teach my students that the same I would like to share with you as well. All. Let's see, whenever you are facing the interview or whenever you are into any workshop or whenever you will be into a placement drive, always consider yourself that as if you are a product, though you are not, but think that I am a product and I need to, your teacher might say good about you, this student is very good, you have a good marks, but marks has nothing, the grades that you achieve, it does not guarantee that you'll be getting a job. So in that case, how you sell yourself, how you market yourself, that is very important. Always practice. Most of the time, whatsoever the age you will go, I'm into teaching for long. Believe me, every time I'm being asked, okay, tell me something about yourself. So every time I have to give something new. So you, in every phase of your life, whenever you do a job, you will have to express yourself with this particular question that tell me something about yourself. And this is the most difficult question to answer, you know. If somebody asks, tell me something about yourself, and we don't understand what should we say, from where should I start? So most of the time students say, I don't have anything to say about myself. So that is the thing we talk about, selling yourself, how effectively you can introduce yourself to a person. That's the reason I always say we are the product. How high we can speak about ourselves, that's more important. Cross-cultural skills, that means you are well sufficient, well expert into connecting with the people of the diverse culture. It is not related with the only organization in your college, in your community. If you develop this skill, definitely you can work in the organization of the cross-culture. It is not like that the students belonging to the southern part of the country, you will be working there only. You can go in any part. I can say the student of the south can get a better job in Gurgaon as well, no? And Delhi, in any part of the country. So cross-cultural skill means that you can go with the wave of the people, you can communicate with them well. That is more important. Influencing skill, how good you are in influencing people. Influencing means it is something that you make people agree with you. That is, again, your communication skill, that what confidence you have that you can express yourself. Win-win conversation. Win-win conversation is what? If you agree to some other person, so that means you have something beneficial for you as well. Win-win means for the sender as well as for the receiver. Both people are speaking in a way that we term it as a win-win conversation. that you are not considered as a loser or you are not compromising, but you are also getting something, and similarly the other person is also getting something better. And writing skills, as if I said, writing skill is other important part, how you express yourself. So if you look into these skills, somehow you'll observe that all these skills are part of your communication. It is the way you are expressing yourself. But the difference is your role varies. Somewhere you are an interviewer, some place you are an interviewee, some place you are the employee, some place you are a leader, sometimes you are the follower. Depending upon the situation, that is communication. You should always remember one thing, that the more expressive you are, the more easy it will be for the other person to connect with you. That is about. Bad communication ends lot of good things, and good communication ends lot of bad things. Now it depends on you how you take it. Most of the time when we are expressing, when we are talking, we see that, okay, there's always a confusion. I won't talk to this person. Whenever I talk to this person, there's always a confusion. So it is not, the confusion is not with the person. Probably the confusion is my way of expressing. That's the reason that leads to confusion. So remember always this thing, that if you are a bad communicator, you can end good opportunities. But if you are a good communicator, you can overcome the bad circumstances. When we are talking of this, HOT. HOT means honest, open, thoughtful, or you can say two-way communication. If I join together, it becomes HOT. HOT means anything that you need to take care of. If you are eating something, it's very hot, you blow it to make it eatable. If you are holding up a hot glass of water or boiled water, in that case, you need protection so that your hand should not burn. So this is to be taken care with. It is something you need to handle with care. So when we are talking for hot communication, HOT communication, that means to be handled with care. That is more important to understand. Now, generally, if you observe, we talk about HOT communication. It is related to the organizations. To make the people comfortable working with, we say it is HOT communication. But now, it is in every phase of your life. And moreover, as if you are the students, I believe the majority of my listeners are students. To you, it is very important to develop this HOT communication. HOT, H stands for honest. Honest communication means what? Always remember, this is something very interesting. That's the reason I just wanted to share with you. Abraham Lincoln said, "It is true that you may fool all the people some of the time. You may even fool some of the people all of the time, but you cannot fool all the people all of the time." Basically, the idea of this what? Most of the time, depending upon a situation, it is perceived that, okay, I'm smart. How I'm smart? Because whatsoever I say, people believe. Whatsoever I'll do, people accept. Right or wrong, whatsoever it is. Most of the time it is misinterpreted that this is I'm effective communicator. I can befool people like anything. I'll say something, my parents will believe. I'll say something, my teachers will believe. I'll say something, my colleagues will believe. But it is not every time. It is not every time. It is very important to be honest. Honest is not something related to you are speaking honestly, you are being honest in the transactions. No, honest in communication means you are understanding the situation. Most of the time I observed into my teaching that the students are very much honest. In that honesty is about, okay, whatsoever you have been asked to do, they say, I didn't do that. Reason? They'll give up a long story of the excuses that I didn't do this work because these were the reasons. And they were not honest in that. They are creating stories. So honest communication means what? What believe that whensoever you will develop your communication skill, when you'll be speaking, when you will be writing, if you have an honest clarity of the thought, that means you are clear. You can quickly develop the mutual understanding with the other person. You will respect the differences in views and interests and needs. So honest is, that means you are not imposing your thing, but you are accepting also, and moreover, you are connecting with a person with an honest mindset. You are not fabricating, you are not creating stories, you are not trying to pose yourself, but you are genuinely talking to a person in the way what you are. That is H stands for. O is open communication. Open communication is what? Where you don't hide anything, where you express yourself in an open way. Thoughts, feelings, and emotions are presented with clarity. You know what you are saying. You know what you expect from the person. That is honest, open communication. Honest and open, they are connected to each other. You know, any communication which is honest, that will be open automatically. You will create a healthy work environment. Healthy environment, it is your work environment. It can be with your friends. It can be at your workplace, wherever you will go. If you are open with your communication, you will express yourself without fear, and that will develop a healthy environment. Because always remember, everybody does not know everything. You cannot say that you are the expert, you know each and everything. Across the ages, or you can say throughout your life, you are into a learning process. You can never say that I know everything. So in that situation, what is the best? To be open. If you don't know anything, instead of posing, you can say I don't know. See, that communication is very clear. So it will develop the healthy environment. And if you agree to it and if you accept that you don't know, it will develop the confidence as well. Provide constructive feedback. Constructive feedback, that whatsoever the people will create the opinion, develop the opinion for you, it will be a constructive feedback. You will learn from that. It is transparent, honest, and consistent way. Transparent, as if I discussed in the very beginning. See, they are all connected. H, O, and T. So open communication is always on transparent. That is more important. And it is not restricted to the workplace. That is open communication. The other is T. It can be two-way. It can be transparent. It can, any way you can interpret it. When we are talking about two-way communication should be transparent. Two-way communication means two people are talking. And when two people are talking, it is important that need to develop the democratic environment. Most of the time, I don't know whether you experience it or not. When two people are talking, communication, one is listening, the other is speaking. But most of the time it happens, both the people are speaking. So in that situation, it is very difficult to identify both are speaking, then who is the listener? It's a confusing state. One need to be quiet, no? So two-way communication is basically what? Creating a democratic environment. It is not like that if you are talking to your parents, if you are talking to your teachers, you are ready with that mindset that, okay, I want the person to say yes. And the person who is listening will have to say yes. No, it's not like that. It never happens. You should be ready to listen no also. You want your parents to say yes, but they say no. So there's nothing to be irritated. No, it's a two-way communication. Why is it so that every time it is to be expected that whatsoever you want to listen, the other person, the listener will exactly respond in the same way? It's not compulsory. It's not compulsion. People express ideas and opinions. When we are independent people, we are expressing ourselves. So person is open to express themselves. So in this case, two-way communication always respect the ideas of the people. You need to build trust. Trust means every time when we are speaking, when we are thinking, we think it that way, okay, whatsoever I'm thinking, that is perfect. But no, it might be that from the other person perspective, it is not perfect. So it is important to discuss with, build trust, that is important. Encourage free flow. Free flow, when you are speaking to someone, never think it of that. Most of the time, you must have observed that when we think before speaking, we are not able to express ourselves. We are more involved and indulged into thinking process. Let me think and then speak. First I'll think, then I'll speak. In that condition, you cannot speak. You cannot express yourself. So in this case, encourage free flow. Improve relationship. It builds relationship. Two-way communication always develop relationship. It is a constructive communication. Constructive communication means every time you are learning something, you are expressing yourself, that's a constructive. And you get an immediate feedback. If you are talking to somebody and somebody, for instance, it's a very hypothetical thought, but I'll say, for instance, you are talking to your friend, and in that situation, your friend disagrees with you. No, I don't agree to it. Now, in this condition where you are expecting that your friend will agree with your idea or will agree what you want to say, but the friend disagree. This is the best situation that everybody faces in their life, and very often it is, like. So in that situation, instead of being annoyed, stop talking or being detached, better the thing is start talking to understand. Might be you must be wrong. It is not like that because the other person thinks from their own perspective. That's the reason they say no. So it develops the constructive communication. That means you are talking, you are understanding. Might be you miss some other things that were important to be taken into consideration. So that is two-way communication. And to develop these two-way communication, this is important to learn, to develop this 7C. 7C, because it is not only a theoretical part, you must be knowing all these concepts, but apply these particular things in your routine and in your communication. Clarity, be clear. Clarity of thought is very important. What you want from the other person, what you expect from the other person, that is need to be very clear. Develop the habit of clarity in your mind, what you want. Courtesy. Most of the time, I personally observed that if you listen to the students, it is very difficult to find out they are talking to their parents, they are talking to their friends, they are talking to the teachers. They talk in a similar way. Always develop that courtesy in your tone, that if you are talking to your friend, one can make out, okay, they are talking to the friend. If you are talking to your teacher, one can make out, okay, it's somehow a formal communication. They are talking to somebody in a very formal way. Sometimes it says they are talking to your parents. So always remember, you cannot treat all the people in the same way. Your tone should vary. Concise. When you are speaking, don't try to bore the people. No? Don't give a long story, because when you are developing communication skills, you need to be very concise, very to the point. Be very specific about it. Okay, it's concise. Don't be too elaborate, because the more you speak, the more confusion there will be. Concrete. The concrete is basically when we say that, okay, it is up to the point. It is on a particular topic you are talking about. Concrete information that you are giving. That is important. Your correct tone and attitude. Correct tone and attitude. Right now, most of the time, the problem with the communication is your tone. The person feels bad because your tone is not good. Your attitude is not good. You don't like the person talking to because you didn't expect the way he was talking or she was talking. The first thing that hit us is the tone. Because later we understand, okay, what was the reason? But the first thing that affects us is the tone, the way the things were spoken. I'm not accepting that particular thing. Why? Because the tone was not good. That is the correct tone. Confidence. Whatsoever you are speaking, you should develop that confidence in your tone, in your body language, in your speaking, that it's reflected. Confidence is not something that you can wear. Confidence is not something that you can train yourself. As if you go to gym every day, you can get a good physical appearance. You can go to a beauty salon, you can make yourself more beautiful. But for confidence, you need to develop the confidence from within yourself. So confidence, you cannot find it anywhere. So develop that confidence. Coherence. Coherence is consistency. That means you are connecting your ideas, your thoughts. Always assess your communication. If you are speaking to somebody and somebody says, okay, couldn't get you, can you please repeat it again? Or if your listener says, I am not able to understand what you want to say. Or your listener says, okay, what you are speaking is fine, but what should I do? What do you want me to do? It means it is not a problem with the listener. It is a problem with your communication. It is you are saying something in such a way that you are not able to reach to your listener. Most of the time, we say, you are not understanding what I am saying. But the matter of the fact is, you are not speaking in a way that the person can understand you. So whenever you feel yourself trapped into a situation where you are able to express yourself, don't argue with the person, just try to improve yourself. Think it up, there is some problem with my communication, that is the reason the person is not connecting, is not understanding, is not responding in a way in which I expected. It is not the problem with the people, it is the problem with me. So that is the other part. So now in this communication, we can say reset. Reset your thought, readjust your approach, restart your communication, refocus on your prospects. Accordingly, as many as time you want. There is never a full stop. You cannot say that's a full stop. You know everything. You can speak well. You can write well. No. At this stage, I'd say that every day I learn. Every day your teachers learn. Every day your parents learn. There are only two ways. I might be sounding very philosophical, but as a student, you are students, I would like to say one thing, that always trust them. There are only two ways. Either you can learn from the experiences of your elders, or you can learn by your experiences. Now it is you who has to decide how you will learn. And accordingly, if you manage the things, definitely you'll be successful in life. So now I'm here for your questions. If you have anything to ask me, if you want anything to discuss with you, you want to express yourself, I'm at your disposal. I would like students one by one to unmute yourself so that I can come up with your queries. I'll try to figure out anything that you want. Because in human life, the entire story is about communication. Sometimes there's a fight, sometimes there is a quarrel, sometimes there's a misunderstanding, and that leads to many things. Yeah, some student raise a hand. You can unmute yourself and you can ask if you have anything to ask.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
My question is, how can we deal with the initial inhibition or the how to break the ice in a conversation? We are starting with an unknown person.
How you can deal with communicating with the unknown person?
Yes, we have an inhibition or we want to break ice to start a conversation.
See, this is Rosa, right?
Yes,
Most
ma'am.
of the time, it happens. It is very easy to communicate with the people whom we are aware of, who they are. You can very well talk to your friends. You can very well communicate with your parents. You can very well communicate with your teachers, your husband, your children. You can do it very well. But art is that only how you start communicating with a person who is not known to you. Definitely, the person whom you want to initiate your conversation, your communication, some way or the other, you cannot talk to a person, unknown person walking on the road. You cannot do that. Definitely, you need to connect with a person some way or the other. That is, for instance, you are talking to me, and we haven't met before, but still we are talking. Reason being, there is something mutual between you and me. That's the reason we are talking. And in that situation, you always develop the confidence. No, everybody will understand only how you will express yourself. If your vocabulary, if your tone, if your body language shows that you are less confident, you are thinking when speaking, but one person has to initiate. Better the thing is, you initiate first. You start talking. The way you start presenting, the other person will automatically come to your pace. You cannot talk to unknown person. You will talk to a person who is sharing a common business with you. Can you ever think it of Rosa talking to a person walking on the road to whom you have never met? Hello?
It is clear.
You cannot talk to a person, and always try to be an initiator. Always be the first person to start communicating, because the way you will start, automatically the other person will be at your level. Don't ever give a chance to other person to speak first. You start speaking, you start talking, you start expressing yourself. The other person will match your level as well. Never think it off that, okay, this person will start. No, you can start. The moment you start your communication, the person, if he's at that level, he will automatically come to your level. That's where the communication match.
Thank you, ma'am. It was very satisfactory and well explained.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Dear students, any more questions or
Sorry.
clarifications?
Is there any student who want to say something? No, I think that's all.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, ma'am. We still wait, then we'll come down for the vote of thanks, something like that. Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
She'll be waiting. Vasundhara Devi, then another. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
I think this webinar is more in knowledge, give knowledge about communication and English language. Thank you, ma'am, for this wonderful webinar. Now I would like to invite Narmada from CAC department. Thanks.
Good evening to all. I am honored and lucky to have the opportunity to give a vote of thanks on this special occasion. It gives me an immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for this event to all the dignitaries assembled. First of all, I would like to thank our respectable resource person, Dr. Kunjan Jain, and our advisory committee, correspondent Thiru R. Solaisamy sir, Director S. Vigneshwari Arun Kumar ma'am, Principal Dr. B.G. Vishnuram, Dean Dr. P. Marichami, HOD of Science and Humanities, Mr. D. Sriram. Next, I would like to thank all institution principals, HODs, faculty members, and all participants from other institutions. Then I would thank our organizing secretary, Mr. M. Balakrishnan, and coordinators, Mr. M. Saravanan, Mrs. R. Maheshwari, Mr. M. Govindan, Mrs. M. Nirmala Rani, Mr. P. Robert Raj, and Mrs. T. Mariselvi for giving a constant support. Thank you. Last but not least, I thank our beloved audience and my dear fellow friends who encouraged the event and made this day memorable. Once again, I thank one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, Narmada. Vote of thanks, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your
Thank you.